Welcome to the Kirkwood Community College Biotechnology Informational Videos. Today we'll be doing gel electrophoresis. The general electrophoresis equipment includes a power supply, gel mold and form, and gel box. Here we have the gel mold, form, and two combs. Carefully take the mold and place it into the form and place your two combs in. Choose the combs according to how many samples you have. I have a total of 10 samples, so I will have two 8-well combs. For these particular samples, I prepared a 1% agarose with lithium bromide and 1x TAE buffer. When working with chemicals like lithium bromide, ensure you are wearing proper personal safety equipment. As you pour the gel, ensure you do not form any bubbles. Also, when you are done, check the bottom of the combs just to ensure you also do not have bubbles there. When your gel turns opaque, it will be ready to use, as you can see here. Next, we must prepare our samples for loading onto the gel. I have a total of 25 microliter reactions. Therefore, I will be using 2.5 microliters of a 10x loading dye. This loading dye will contain two dyes so I can monitor electrophoresis, and also glycerol to help weigh down the samples into the wells as I load them. To prevent contamination, ensure you use new tips between each sample. Repeat these steps until all your samples are prepared for loading. Now you are ready to load your gel into the gel box. Carefully remove your gel from the form and place into the gel box. Keep in mind your DNA will migrate to the positive pole due to the negative charge in the phosphates in the DNA. Today I'll be using 1x TAE buffer. Carefully pour the buffer into the gel box, filling both chambers. All you need is a thin layer covering the top of the gel. When this is done, carefully and slowly remove the combs from the gel as to not tear the gel accidentally. Improper removing of the combs may cause a hole in the bottom of the well and cause leakage later as you load your sample. It then may be necessary to top off the gel with more buffer to ensure that the wells are completely covered. Now we can load our gel. I will be using a 2-log DNA molecular weight ladder. This will allow me to later estimate the size of my bands in my gel. When you're loading, in this case I will load my molecular weight marker twice, one in each row. Now it's time to load your samples. As you load your samples, be very careful not to puncture the bottom of the well with your tip. The agarose is very thin, and if that is done, your sample will leak out the bottom. Also ensure that in your lab notebook you note what samples will go in what wells to avoid further confusion. Now we can start the electrophoresis. Carefully put on the lid and making sure your electrodes are hooked up properly. Remember, your DNA will move towards the positive pole. Turn on the power supply, and in this case set the constant mode, and I'll be running this gel at 130 volts. This may vary based on the type of gel, percentage of gel, and how large your gel is. It's always a good idea to make sure electrolysis is taking place, so look into the gel box and make sure bubbles are forming. And here we have electrophoresis over time lapse, and you can see the dyes migrate. I like to do it until the dyes divide the gel into thirds. When electrophoresis is done, turn off the power supply, carefully remove the lid, remove the gel from the gel box, pouring off the excess buffer, and place onto a paper towel to absorb excess liquid. Now it's time to document your results. I will do this at a later video.